Guys, you're welcome to another history series with what? Digital Binway. And yes, I am still your favorite historian, and we're back on another series every month. And today I'll be talking about the Colonial Crucible, how 46 years of British rule shaped modern Nigeria. In 1914, the British colonial administrator formally merged the Northern and Southern Protectorates, creating the geographical entity we now know as Nigeria. The act of unification marked the beginning of a profound transformation that permanently altered the country's cultural, political, and economic trajectory. The era of British colonization was in 1914 to 1960. For nearly 5 decades, British government was defined by significant, often disruptive changes. 1. Political restructuring. The British introduced a system of indirect rule relying on pre-existing traditional leaders, especially in the north, to administer local governance. While seemingly efficient for the British, the system often undermined the authority of traditional structure in the south and exacerbated regional ethnic and religious division. 2. Economic transformation. The colonial government infrastructure, particularly the railway network, was built not to serve international Nigerian trade, but to efficiently extract raw materials like cocoa, groundnut, and palm oil. For British industrial needs, this cemented Nigeria's role as a primary commodity exporter, a legacy that continues to impact its economic structure. 3. Cultural and social shifts. The arrival of Christian missionaries brought a Western education which became a powerful catalyst for social mobility. However, access was uneven, leading to educational and administrative disparities between the southern and the northern region, a disparity that fueled early political tension. Now, the rise of the nationalist movement. The very education and political structures introduced by the British eventually gave rise to the forces that would dismantle colonial rule. By the 1940s and 1950s, a powerful wave of nationalist movement has swept the country. Educated Nigerians after training in the British system used the ideals of self-determination and democracy to demand independence. The key figures we have are Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, and Ahmadu Bello led these organized political parties and movements. This movement achieved their goal through a combination of political negotiation, constitutional conferences, and public pressure, culminating in Nigerian momentous freedom. October 1, 1960, Nigeria gained full independence, marking the end of British control and the dawn of a new self-governed era. The colonial era, though relatively brief, laid the foundation and often the fault lines of modern Nigeria. Understanding this period is crucial to grasping the country's ongoing political and developmental journey. So now we know that the colonial crucible and how the British rule shaped modern Nigeria. It shaped it in the political restructuring, the economic transformation. The political restructuring was that now people are grouped in different regions, ethnic and religious division, and then the economic transformation, there have been exporting of cocoa, groundnuts, and palm oil, in which they get in return of what? Money, which is money. The next one is cultural and social shifts. There have been a lot of mobility on that. A lot of Christian missionary bringing West education to teach people how to read and write, which many Nigerians of today can read and write. But those that cannot read, education is still coming across them as well. Now, to conclude it all, we have some significant figures because I'm trying to do a recap for some people who cannot go through the reading of all of those things, but at the end they watch the video and they see the recap. Okay, so that's what I'm doing now. So we have the significant figures who created a political party that was able to dismantle colonial rule, because the Nigerians have said, okay, we do not want colonial people to rule us anymore. We cannot take over and be independent. That is why we have the 1st of October as Independence Day, and we have these wonderful people, these wonderful icons, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, and Ahmadu Bello, who started the movement. And in all of this movement, it had led for a new governance era, and now we have democracy, which is for the people, by the people, and of the words of the people. So thank you so much for staying tuned on this historical series on everything that has to do with colonial crucible and the British rule shaping modern Nigeria. So if you want to have a one-on-one historical masterclass, you love history so much and you would love to have a class with me, okay, you can book a 1-month training with me. I'm going to call my number is +234 814 748 0036. So book me today at Digital Binway Academy, and let's dissect everything you need to know about history. Maybe you're a student, or maybe you just have passion to learn more about Nigerian history or worldwide history. We cover both Nigerian and worldwide. So by the time I'm done with the series of Nigerian history, we'll be going worldwide. We'll definitely start with US history after Nigerian history, and from there we go to UK history, and like that. So if you also like my content, you like me talking about history, you're a huge fan of history, you would like to support my work, so click on that Stephanie button link and support me with any token. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in another series here with Digital Binway on everything about history. And don't forget to stay tuned, and see you by the grace of God in another month series. Bye.